Now 5.MD.3 and 5.MD.4, I'm pairing these two standards together because one is simply recognizing volume as measured by cubic units, and the other standard is measuring volume by counting unit cubes. So they're essentially the same skill broken up into one, understanding, and two, application. So let's take a look at what a cubic unit is according to the standard. This little drawing of a cube is one individual cube, and it's a unit. It's one cubic unit, and you can count units. You can count cubes, but this is particularly called a cubic unit because we're not counting cubes. We are counting units, and they just happen to be shaped as a cube to be packed. Now that's similar to one square unit, where this is two-dimensional. It's just the length and the width, where this is three-dimensional because it has the length, the width, and the depth. So now if I really zoom into that one cubic unit and I apply a unit of measurement, now we notice that this isn't just one cubic unit. This is actually 1 cubic inch. And what you need to also recognize is that each one of these measurements, just like finding the area of a square, 1 times 1, when it comes to cubic units, you're now measuring the height times the width times the length. Now you're measuring 3 different measurements of that cube. So 1 times 1 times 1, 1. But the reason why we say cubic units or units cubed is because we're also multiplying the actual unit. And so whenever you multiply the same thing repeatedly, you can use an exponent to represent how many times it's being multiplied. So then when you start looking at specific examples of this, and you start actually measuring by counting unit cubes, you can see that this example has 1, 2, 3 unit cubes. You can count them, and you can say it's 3 unit cubes. But you can also consider that since they are forming a solid object, you can use the multiplication method 3 times 1 times 1, which gets you 3, but because inches are being multiplied times inches, we can write inches cubed. Now, that doesn't always work, though. Sometimes you really do just have to count. Like this example, you're counting 1 cubed inch, 1 cubic inch, 1 cubic inch, 1 cubic inch, and 1 cubic inch. So literally counting each one of those gets you 5 cubic inches or units, which can be written as 5 inches squared, cubed. Now this last example has quite a few cubes here in this little drawing. You can see it's 5 cubes across, cubic units, and 4 cubic units deep. Notice how I counted 5 across. See that 5th one right there? When I counted the depth, I counted that one again as 4 deep. See that? And it's 1 cube high. So if I multiply 5 times 4 times 1, I'm going to get 20. Now if I count each unit cube, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, if I count each unit cube, I'm going to get the same answer. So be mindful that sometimes you're not going to be able to multiply to find the answers. You may actually have to go in and be a little careful and make sure that you're counting cubes to make sure that your volume is being measured correctly. And that is MD3 and MD4.